When you win as easily as Magnus Carlsen, sometimes it can start to look a little boring. So, to refresh your memory, here are some moments where the 12-year highest ranked player showed the world why he is the undisputed GOAT. Magnus Carlsen vs Espen. Playing against any seasoned player, no matter your own ranking, is always a daunting task. And even if you do win, it usually takes a while to get there. But not for Magnus Carlsen. In a game he played against his own manager and fighting master, Espen, the king showed just how good he is by winning a blitz match with most of his moves taking under a second to play. Soon, without his opponent even noticing what's happening, he manages to perfectly corner him and destroy his defenses, leading to a spectacular victory. It just goes to show that even the best and most experienced players in the end have no match against a pure talent like Carlsen's. But here's the thing. Magnus is a different beast, not just because he wins against normal players, but against other prodigies like himself. Just take a look at this next match. Magnus Carlsen vs Sergey Karakan. Not all matches go this fast. However, in properly ranked tournaments, even someone like Carlsen has to sometimes think outside of the box. In one particular game, he played against fellow Grandmaster and top 10 world player Sergey. Carlsen seemed to be at an impasse. That is, until he decided to pull out his big guns and play one of the most brilliant queen sacrifices in recent history and wins an otherwise impossible game in just a couple of moves. That's right, with one swift move, he manages to completely change the situation on the board, causing even his opponent to be nothing but impressed. Magnus Carlsen vs Sergey Karakan. That's right, that was not the only time that Magnus was able to show off against Karakan. In fact, even though Sergey is himself a phenomenal player in his own right, against Magnus, he only seems to help show his opponent's strength in a brighter light. For reference, Sergey has beaten the likes of Nakamura and basically every other guy in the top 10 with ease on multiple occasions. It's just that Magnus is just that much better than him. Take this match for instance. Both players start with 3 minutes on the timer and the game begins with a shockingly rapid pace that both players are able to match pretty evenly. Here, take a look. However, it is only after the two have set their defense lines that the true battle begins. The two develop their offenses and then Magnus makes a clever move by seeming to attack Sergey's bishop with his own. But when Sergey counters, Magnus simply moves back. And with this little move, Magnus is able to basically break Sergey's strategy less than 10 seconds into his play. Why? Because this then prompts Sergey to attack with his pawn next to his bishop, a wrong move which he loses nearly 40 seconds in making. After this, Carlsen moves his own pawn to meet Sergey's, which causes Sergey to retreat, and with that Carlsen grins and begins his assault. While spending less than 10 seconds, Magnus already holds a knight well into Sergey's defense line. All that follows is a slow, consistent attack on Sergey, which culminates in this arrangement where Carlsen, with over 2 minutes still left to spare, elegantly checks Sergey using a queen and a pawn. Magnus Carlsen vs Bill Gates. Not all of Carlsen's games are against professional players, however, and seeing as he is probably the most famous chess personality in the world right now, he has played some pretty interesting games against other celebrities, but none are as impressive as the game he played against tech genius Bill Gates himself. While playing on live TV, Carlsen not only responded to Gates' challenge happily, but actually beat the one-time world's richest man in just 11 seconds. Just goes to show how not all kinds of intelligence are the same. I've got to say, even though he wasn't an expert player, I still expected better from Bill. Magnus Carlsen vs Garry Kasparov. Now, as impressive as all of these matches are, none of them can compete with the sheer pedigree of one particular game that Carlsen played as a 13-year-old, no less. We are, of course, talking about his match against the celebrated and legendary chess player Garry Kasparov, a game which Carlsen, in spite of his inexperience against the veteran, managed managed to bring a draw with an advantage on his side. As you can see, in less than 5 minutes of play, the teenager had gotten the greatest chess player in the world at the time to visibly start to worry while he himself strutted around the room. A true Chad from the beginning, and before long, he managed to bring the game to a clean and well-earned close as well. For those of you who don't know, Garry Kasparov is considered one of, if not the single greatest chess player of all time, because at his peak, his winning streak was even longer than Carlsen's is now. In fact, if he had not retired from the game, the guy would probably have ended up carving out an even bigger legacy for himself. So you can imagine that when the aging veteran came out to play against a mere 13-year-old, people would have forgiven Carlsen for not winning. And yet, when Garry arrived to play, things already seemed different. Magnus Carlsen versus Lars Monson. Another time Carlsen got to show off against a senior, which, let's be honest, is something that he likes to do once in a while, was when he competed against another fellow Norwegian legend, this time the journalist, adventurer, and avid chess player Lars Monson. But here's the thing. To even out their playing field, both of them actually decided to play a game with Monson being assigned 3 minutes on the timer against Carlsen's 30 seconds. For anyone else, that might have been the thing that helped them beat a legend, but not for Carlsen. He quickly managed to show he was just built different. In fact, just a few minutes later, Carlsen ends up holding the time advantage, which is insane if you think about it, and then, before the time runs out, actually checks Monson just to flex. Magnus Carlsen versus Fabiano Caruana. Another iconic moment from not too long ago was when Carlsen was facing off against the second highest rated chess player in the world, Fabiano Caruana, in last year's World Rapid competition. But here's the thing. While Caruana was there to win the match, Carlsen couldn't seem to care less, arriving over 5 minutes late and in a state that just screamed teenager. And yet, before long, he was able to show just why he is the #1 ranked player and nobody else, as he absolutely demolished Caruana's defenses despite the other one being one of the greatest players out there right now, ultimately leading to a well-earned draw for Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen versus Andrew Tang. Coming to the end of our list, while official and televised matches are undoubtedly fun, let's face it, what Carlsen is most famous for is his online presence and chess playing. And none of those moments compare to the incredible victory he won against the ranked best bullet player in the world, Andrew Tang, without even being a regular player of the format. Not only does he start by immediately judging his opponent's tactics as futile, calling them dumb while on stream, he managed to win the game while maintaining the time advantage, against the supposed expert at that. Dude even manages to play it casually. What a legend. And that's about it, guys. Just a few of the most brilliant and show-stopping moments that Magnus Carlsen has graced the chess world with. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please drop a like and subscribe for more. We would really appreciate that. Click on one of the 2 videos on your screen.